was. What we were hearing is.
Welcome to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour. I'm Brian Bielanski, and this is the Great Lakes Race of Champions. I love the name. Ohio Valley Region SCCA is hosting us, and we're here for round 15 of the Super Tour this year, 15 and 16. We've got qualifying this afternoon. It's 5 groups of qualifying we're going to get through today. Then we're going to be back on at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning for another 4 groups of qualifying, followed by 9 races on Saturday. And then we're going to get up at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and do another 9 feature races on Sunday. It's going to be a big weekend of racing action here at Mid-Ohio. The Super Tour is returning to Mid-Ohio after not being here for a couple of years. I'm excited to be here. One of the first racetracks I ever raced on way back in the day, Mid-Ohio. Brand new racing surface. I'm sure we'll have some time to talk about that this weekend, but we're getting this first group out there right now. This is our first race group of the weekend, so group number 1, and we're going to get these qualifying sessions underway. Touring 2, 3, and 4. STL and STU, they were out this morning on a pretty significantly wet racetrack. A little less wet at the moment, and we hope that it stays that way for the rest of the afternoon. We've had very varying conditions throughout the day. You can see the mist as we come down the backstretch here. It is not a dry racetrack, but it is a drying racetrack at this moment. These are our touring cars and our STL, STU cars. These are as close to production cars as you're going to see in the SCCA, especially the touring cars. These super touring cars are a little more teched out and modded out, but not a whole lot for those who aren't necessarily up on the way we do our classing here. 25-minute qualifying sessions, and of course, as the track dries, we will get faster as the session goes, and that will be the case as the afternoon goes on, until we get ourselves a dry racetrack, or Mother Nature decides she wants to play games with us and gives us some more precipitation throughout the day. We're supposed to have off and on showers and thunderstorms today here at Mid-Ohio. Tomorrow, a chance of showers and thunderstorms. So it looks like tomorrow's weather will be significantly better than today. Sunday, if the weather guessers are correct, we will have a nice sunny day here at Mid-Ohio. So a lot to look forward here to as our green flag goes in the air here for the first time in a qualifying session. Our sessions this morning were practice. Those times are not reflective or not used here at all for the case of being able to put times on the board for setting up the order for tomorrow. So it is this session today. We'll set up the qualifying order for tomorrow's races. And then Sunday's races will be either the qualifying from today or the race times from tomorrow will be put together, and the best times from those 2 sessions will be our starting order on Sunday. All right, so early on, of course, these times mean absolutely nothing because they were out laps, but Brian Heitman was fastest in T3 early on. Scotty B. White got the second fastest time, but I don't even know why I'm sharing this with you, because in 1 or 2 laps, the 2:27 times that you see now will be probably below 2 minutes. I was seeing earlier this morning the top practice times are right in 158, 159 range for the fast cars in this group. So that is what we are expecting as we get into at least a hot lap, and then with the drying track, it should get even faster. 13 corners here at Mid-Ohio. For the drivers to negotiate, you can see the big wet spot on the apex there at turn 6. Not quite sure if that's as wet as it looks or it's just a different type of pavement, but it looks like a puddle actually, and these drivers are doing a very deft job of negotiating around it until one car gets there and doesn't realize it's a puddle, and they will drive right through it and go, oh wait, I don't want to do that again. But yeah, that is a good little puddle there. I understand from folks who have driven this track in the wet since it's been repaved that it does drain fairly well, so I don't know how long that puddle will last. No worry about puddles here. With the elevation change, the water will run right off this section of the keyhole. That's about center of the keyhole there. That portion of the racetrack dumps out onto the backstretch here. The start stand you see there is the start stand for the weekend. So all of our races will start in the backstretch. They will end on the front stretch with the main start-finish line. The reason for that, especially with our club here, and sometimes we have in excess of 40 cars, really hard to line up 40 cars. Oh, there we go. We've got a car off there at the exit of turn 1. Looks like a black car of some sorts. It would be a really cheap of me to suggest that it might be a Miata, considering half our cars out here are Miatas, but have no idea from this distance which car that is. See if I could hear something on the flag net. John Heinrichs back out with us this weekend in that beautiful Cadillac Blackwing. Don't think we've seen him out since maybe Sebring or Road Atlanta might have been the last time that car was out with us here. That car's been in development now, starting its second season here. I probably missed the call from the flag net here on which car that is. "25-minute qualifying sessions today. We're going to get in, I would say we're going to get 5 in tonight, then 4 more tomorrow morning. All right, we're going to go black flag all here on this session. I have a suspicion is that that might be because drivers weren't slowing down enough going through turn 1 to make it safe for our workers out there. That tends to be the reason that happens here, or anywhere with the Super Tour. So, but I'm purely guessing at this moment. A couple cars that didn't catch the back black flag, but now they're at least slowing down. That's a good sign. So that black flag, it shouldn't be a long black flag. It doesn't look like that car has done too much damage, so they should be able to yank it out of there pretty quickly once they get the field under control here and then get a little safe space to work. So if I'm looking at the rundown here, I've got a couple suspicions as to who that car might be. I will wait for one more group of cars to go around and see if there's one car that doesn't appear to be circulating. Then I will make a wild guess as to who that may be out there. Let's do this. Let's take our first break of the day, and I will do a call to grid, and then we will get the break out of the way during our full course caution here so that we can come back and hopefully be green all the way to the finish. Attention in the paddock, attention paddock. Group 2 cars to the grid, Group 2 cars to the grid for your qualifying session. That would be Spec Racer Ford to the grid. All right, stay with us. We'll be back in just a minute. This is the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour. We are live at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
Hoosier Racing Tire is proud to be the presenting sponsor of SCCA Super Tour. Hoosier's mission is to be the dominant customer-driven provider of tires to race teams domestically and internationally. At Hoosier, we know that our success is dependent on how well we meet our customers' expectations by providing the safest, most reliable, high-quality race tires that put you in the winner's circle. For more information, see our trackside support personnel or the local Hoosier Racing Tire dealer near you, or contact us at HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Racing Tires, truly tires designed for champions.
Hagerty is the official and exclusive insurance partner for SCCA and provides affordable off-track insurance protection for motorsports vehicles while in the paddock, in transit, in storage, and at the shop. Hagerty also provides guaranteed value coverage and even has protection for your trailer. And did you know that SCCA members can save 5% on insurance through Hagerty? Hagerty, let's drive together. Learn more at Hagerty.com.
Bravo Trailers is the exclusive trailer partner of the SCCA. Owned by longtime SCCA racers, Bravo Trailers work better, load easier, and tow better because we build them with racers in mind. Visit bravotrailers.com to see your new trailer in aluminum or steel.
For over 25 years, championship-winning drivers and teams have demanded Hawk Performance Motorsports brake pads. Now you can have their advanced technology on your daily car, truck, or SUV with Hawk Performance Street products. With the improved HP Plus pad for the hybrid street and track feel, or Super Duty pads for tow vehicles, their all-new ER brake pad designed to take on even the longest race, and their all-new high-performance brake fluid. Hawk has all your braking needs covered. Visit hawkperformance.com and like them on Facebook or Instagram to learn more about the Hawk Performance Advantage. Hawk Performance, what's stopping you?
It's the 2024 Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour, the premier amateur road racing series bringing together top SCCA road racers from around the country. The Hoosier Super Tour visits some of the greatest tracks in North America, showcasing each of our 28 car classes. From production to GT cars, prototype to Formula cars, the Hoosier SCCA Super Tour packs a ton of wheel-to-wheel racing action into every event.
We are back here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in the middle of our Touring 2, 3, and 4 and STL and STU qualifying session. And at the moment, we are under a black flag condition while they pick up a car that went off on the outside of Turn 1. You can see it all happening right there. It actually looks like that car may be, well, they've gotten it moved a portion of the way. It's possible that car hit the wall hard enough where they actually need to put it on the tilt bed there. So that is the delay. Real quick, let's go through our really early times here in this session. Your fast car in STL is Rocco Pasquarello with a 2-minute 8.52 lap, followed by Will Robinson, Michael Borden, Cam Eben, and Reed Sweeney. Moving down to STU right now, Thomas Noble's your fast car, his purple lap, 1:55.328, followed by John Schmidt, Bruce Bannister, and Charlie Baruth. Looking at T2, you've got John Heinrichs in that Blackwing Cadillac. I was talking about it earlier, and also with him is Michael Kamalian in the Ford Mustang. Only 2 T2 cars here with us today. Touring 3, Ethan Jacobs in a Mazda Miata. He is his purple lap, 1:52.292, followed by Brian Heitman, Todd Clark, Anthony Pacelli, and Derek Wagner. That's your top 5 in T3. Looking at T4, Matt Spicuzzi in a Mazda RX-8 from Waterford Township, Michigan, right by Waterford Hills Racetrack. For those of you who race up here in the Midwest, Scotty B. White is in second, followed by Alex Lozano, Mark Cefalo, and Richard Mooney. Now, of course, those times are very early in the session on a drying racetrack, so all of what I said will probably be absolutely meaningless when we get to the end of the session. Black flag conditions, which means the clock keeps running in this 25-minute session. We have 9 race groups this weekend, so there really is no time, especially on today and tomorrow, to extend these sessions out. So they're going to do a pretty good job of keeping to the clock as they can. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to pull these away. Let's take a look at our associate producers in the chat. I know you're here, and I appreciate all of you. Let us pull this up. We've got a lot of the usual suspects. Boyd from New York is here. Nicole Cooper, she's looking after Mark Cefalo. She's here in the chat, as she often is. Jan Echterman, Major Angle. Is that opposed to a minor angle? We should have a discussion about that, Mr. Major, or Miss Major. Taylor Hyatt, one of our Runoffs Award winners for the Inside the SCCA podcast last year. Mika Greenfield's here, Robert Jr. I saw Brian Stasinski, met Brian for the first time today, and I found out that I'm going to lose my Polish card this weekend. I've been mispronouncing his name. I keep on throwing an R in there. It's Brian Stasinski. Brian, thank you. He's racing in Formula V this weekend with his dad, Bill. They're both going to be out here. He had a little bit of problems with the car in practice. Hopefully they can get that sorted out. I see FV80, that's national champion Stephen Davis in the chat. Hoping to see him up here this weekend. Love seeing his car out here. Steven and I go back to Road Atlanta in the 1990s when I lived down there. Really good guy, really fast Formula V driver, national champion, one of the best. Adam DeLong, he's a local guy, been in the chat with us for a long time throughout the Super Tour. He's actually here on site this weekend as a volunteer worker, and good to be able to see him and introduce ourselves to each other. So always love it when I get to meet the associate producers at the racetrack. Fine and fun stuff. Anyway, that's what we've got right now. Looking to see, I still see all of the workers there. It looks like the car is up on the tilt bed now. So it should be, as long as they don't have to do any work on getting the tire wall put back together, we should get this car moving and hopefully get back to a green flag here. Right now there's 10 minutes left in the session. If we can get going soon, these cars can get another maybe three good laps in before all is said and done. Everybody moving, and because we've black flagged the session, our course workers can go counter race, which means they can get to pit lane ultra fast here, and that will help us get going back to racing as well. Up next is Spec Racer 43. Let me do another call to grid for them. Attention in the paddock, attention to the paddock. Group 2 cars to the grid. Group 2 cars, Spec Racer 43s to the grid for your qualifying session. And that was the 04 car, just drove right past me, and I was able to see the number. Let me see if I can figure out which car number 04 is. And that would be Camden Reich. That was it's a black Mazda RX-7. He's out of Spring, Texas. Came a long way to go racing here. Hopefully they can get that car put back together so they can get out there for the race. Didn't look like it was terribly damaged, but I only saw one end of the side of the car. It could be destroyed on the other side for all I know. I will take a look as it comes by me this time going in the other direction. Coming up on 9 minutes to go on the clock, but I hear the cars started up and they're going back on the racetrack, so they're going to get an out lap here, and as long as we can stay green, they should get probably 3 good laps in before we have to call it on this session. So hopefully everybody can keep the rubber on the racetrack and we will keep racing. Keeping an eye. Oh, they went in a back door, so they did not drive past me again. But we'll check to see if they can get that car back together. They did get 1 lap in, although it wasn't a very fast lap, so they probably spun that really early here. So regardless of whether they get the car put back together, if they come back out, they'll be starting near the back of the pack, if not at the back of the pack, for our race tomorrow afternoon. The race for this group tomorrow will be at 1:20 a.m. 10:20. No, I will not be here at 1:20 a.m., even though I am on West Coast time, and I might be watching our director on Twitch at 1 a.m. But no, 10:20 a.m. tomorrow morning is when this race group will go off. So if you're here specifically because you're a fan of somebody in this group, they will be racing tomorrow at 10:20 a.m. and then bright and early at 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. All right, green flag is in the air. 7 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. So we're looking at 3 good laps here for this race group before we get this thing buttoned up, and then we will bring our Spec Racer Fords out. Nice big contingent of Spec Racer Fords here this weekend. Always the case at these Midwest races. A couple of really strong prep shops in this area bring lots of cars to the racetrack when we come to Mid-Ohio, when we come to Road America. Also 2 premier tracks that everyone wants to come and race at, kind of destination racetracks. You'll see there's a nice little river running through the turn 10, the entrance to turn 10 and 11. That doesn't look like it's too deep, so that should dry up pretty quickly here if we don't get any more rain, since there's really no way to not drive through that as they come up the hill and then make that left turn to come into the carousel. Now the cars will get to their first hot laps here. As I said, on our out lap, when we were talking about 2-minute and 10-second laps, John Heinrich's fast lap before the black came out was a 1:51.7. And my guess is as the track goes down, that time will go down, or the track dries out, that time will go down as well. The always concern is after a black flag with just a few more minutes on the clock is that you get guys out there who really want to try to put a hot lap in and push a little too hard, and then they end up going off and causing another full course caution. We hope that doesn't happen. Everyone needs to keep the level head about themselves as they try to work our way here through these final few minutes and give everybody a chance to put down some good times here. Looking for that first set of times to come through here. Taking a peek at everyone in the chat. Yep, we did just determine that that was a Mazda as it came off the track here. So Nicole Cooper was right, as she often is. Nicole is one of our past associate producers of the weekend. We always give a little award to the associate producer who puts out the most stuff or the most interesting or good information throughout the weekend. So thank you to all of everyone who shows up. And I've just been corrected. It's Cam Eben, not Eben. Thank you, Courtney. I appreciate that. I will do my best to remember that as we get through the weekend. Four minutes, 45 seconds left on the clock here. Now we're starting to get our first hot laps back after the green flag has fallen, after our black flag, and now Ethan Jacobs has gone purple with a fast lap of 1:51.081. That bumps John Heinrichs down to second place at the moment. Of course, all these times are provisional as we get through this session, but that's where we stand for the top spots here as we sit at the moment. I think this is also going to be one of our split start groups this weekend. You look here, yes, Group 1 will be a split start, likely Super Touring starting first with all the touring cars starting second. They will determine that officially after the qualifying session is over, but that is typically how these things work out. The tough part is determining whether or not so oftentimes when it's wet out, the touring cars are faster than the Super Touring cars. That could be the case here with our wet conditions, but then if we have a race with the dry track, that's when the Super Touring cars are faster. So that is a little bit of a consideration here when we figure out the split starts. What we have from qualifying might be not be truly indicative of what would happen during a race if the conditions are drastically different, and that's exactly what we could have happen this weekend here. 3 minutes and 5 seconds left to go. Now Todd Clark has dropped down a purple lap, our first lap of the 150 range. Todd Clark in that BMW 330i out of Fox Island, Washington. Well, if anybody knows how to drive in the wet, it should be someone from Washington, right? Todd Clark, a BMW 330ci with a 151.08. That pops him into the top spot. Also a Touring 3 car. Our STL car that's on the move right now, Max G, just dropped a lap of 151.288. That puts him in third place overall in STL. That's the first Super Touring car that we've seen pop into the top 5 here since we started the session, so that means the track is definitely drying out. I can actually see a dry line here on the front straight, so that's a good sign for the rest of the day, if in fact we can get through the day without any more rain. I don't know if producer Jordan has a radar shot for us that he can pull up. Oh, that is the way it looks. There we go. Thank you, Jordan. As you can see, there's a little rain in the area. We are the purple, and of course, he gets us a purple dot too. That is as good as it gets, people. Hoosier paid a lot for that dot. Oh, that's good. That's good. Hoosier did not pay extra for the purple dot. Anyway, little rain in the area, but not a lot behind us, so that's good news. There is that one little band of storms a little south and west of here, and it is kind of coming in our direction. So I don't know that we're going to stay dry for the rest of the afternoon, but we're certainly hopeful. Minute and a half to go here, and right now it is still Todd Clark at the top spot here. Get at least one more lap in, maybe two, depending on where cars are on the racetrack and when that checkered flag goes in the air. And this is going to be one of those sessions where they're going to use up every moment of this. A lot of times at the end of the session, cars will start pulling in, or they may back off on that final lap. That is not going to be the case here with the drying track and with that 5 minutes, little bit of black flag that we had in the middle. Still no changes. Oh, actually, Max G in that STL car, he has bumped up to second place now. And Austin Hill is in the discussion. He is now in fourth place overall in STL And STU, Thomas Noble, he is your fast car in STU. He is now sitting in 6th place overall. So now, as I was saying, with the drying track, the Super Touring Light, Super Touring undercards, they start to shine. They're always typically faster than the touring cars on a dry track, but the touring cars have an advantage on a wet track. My suspicion is there's some traction control involved in that process, and I believe the touring cars can have anti-lock brakes, and I don't think the super touring cars can. I'm sure somebody will jump in the chat and fill me in on that, but I think all of that plays in here. And now we've got a new fast car in STL as we get to the final moments of this session, as the checkered flag starts to come out. Actually, the checkered flag is out, and Reed Sweeney has dropped the fast lap in STL with a 151.079. And just as we got to the checkered flag, Anthony Pacelli drops a purple lap in T3. That's a 149.779. That's the first car today in this group under a 150. So that's a great lap for Anthony Pacelli. Now we really have to wait till the end of all of these cars completing their laps, because there's still a good chance here we may see some fast laps here as the track dries in this final. And just as I said that, Max G goes purple overall with an STL car. That's the Honda Prelude. He was at a 149.1, and before I could even finish talking about Max G, Austin Hill goes purple in the Mazda MX-5 out of Frankfort, Ohio. 148.232, the first lap under 149 of the day just came across. Frankfort, Ohio and Belleville, Ohio showing their colors here. These are drivers that I'm pretty certain have some time here at Mid-Ohio, and they're showing it now. And now we have another T3 car that has jumped to 2nd place. Isaac Beekman jumped to 2nd, and before I could finish talking about Isaac Beekman, Ethan Jacobs drops a hot lap of a 147. There's our first lap of the day under 148. Ethan Jacobs drops a 147.338 as we come to finish this thing up. Hot and furious action here in the final lap of a drying racetrack here. I actually see, is that some sun I'm seeing peeking through? Definitely brighter skies here. Maybe not sun, but definitely a brighter sky in the last 5 minutes or so. Mark Cefalo jumps to the top spot in T4, so he's going to be your T4 pole sitter likely with a 148.8. He comes all the way out of Swoyersville, Pennsylvania. So fast and furious action. I'm going to give you provisional top 3 in each class before we take our break here. Keep in mind, I say provisional because this could change, but I'm pretty certain this is where we're going to stand. STL, your top 3. Austin Hill with a 148.232, followed by Rocco Pasquarella and Max G. Then we've got an STU, John Schmidt, Thomas Noble, John Weisberg. Schmidt's fast lap, a 151.359. Touring 2, your fast car, John Heinrichs, with that Blackwing Cadillac, 151.794, followed by Michael Kamalian. Then we go to Touring 3. Ethan Jacobs, your fast car there, 147.338, followed by Isaac Beekman and Todd Clark. Touring 4, we've got Mark Cefalo, who right at the last second took the pole in Touring 4 with a 148.832, followed by Christian Braulich and Sergio Zlobin. That's how they stand in Touring 4. Let me see if I've got any comments in the chat from Nicole. Let's see. Whoa, Mark just pulled it off. There we go. 4th overall and 1st in class. There we go. That's going to do it here for Group 1. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Group 2, Spec Racer Fords. They're next. Stay with us, everybody. You're watching the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour. We are live at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
Mazda's been very supportive of racers within the SCCA and all the other grassroots organizations for many, many years. Really, their support for racing and our type of racing is unmatched from any other manufacturer. They've been a great partner for many, many years.
Mazda, hands down, is the best company to work with for sports car racing. Factory support is second to none. It just feels right. You feel connected.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. This is the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour Friday qualifying for this round, what is this, round 14? 13? 15, round 15. It's been a long season, folks. Round 15 of the Super Tour here. Spec Racer Ford 3. Got a nice big field here this weekend as I scroll through 26 cars here. Some really fast race cars. Morgan Burkhart's here this weekend. Bobby Sack. Some of our fastest. James Goffrey is here. James Lebeco. Looking at some of these cars. Some really good race cars here this weekend. Grant Vogel's always running up front here with the Super Tour. Charles Pigeon as well. So, and then a bunch of local drivers here who know this area and racetrack very well as well. So it's always interesting for me to see when the local drivers intermix with the Super Tour regulars on their home track. There's always one or two that gets right in the mix there and starts to shake things up, and that's what I am very, very interested to see this weekend here at Mid-Ohio. I will say, though, that they're all in a new racing service, and I think most of them for the first time, and that's a little bit of a wild card this weekend to see how this new pavement works. We're seeing how it works on a drying racetrack. I'd like to see it on a perfectly dry racetrack, and I think we're going to get that sometime here throughout the weekend. But we are back here and racing. All these cars on their out lap, so for the first lap or two here, any times that we do have, I always mention them, and I say to myself, why am I mentioning them? Because they're not going to mean anything in about 3 laps. But we will take a look here as our cars come through turn 4 and 5. That's China Beach there off to the right. A little sand trap there that has been affectionately or not so affectionately named China Beach. Got a lot of cars who've ended up in that little sand trap over the years. It's also the site of my first racing crash on the inside of turn 4 there. That is a long story that I will not bore you with. If you ever catch me at a workers' party, though, ask me about that one. But, yeah, site of my first race car crack up. Anyway, down the hill here into turn 6. Little area there. Doesn't look that wide open from in the car, but from here it looks pretty, or from there it looks pretty good. Turn 8 and 9. First cars crossing the line now to start their first hot lap here of the race. Again, this track is rapidly drying out. The dry line even more so now than it was at the end of the last race, and that was only about 7 or 8 minutes ago. I don't think the sun is out, but it's certainly brighter skies right now, which is definitely good news for everybody. Here we get our cars exiting turn 1. We had a car in that tire wall in the last session. We will hope for not having a repeat of that one in this session. Chris Jennerjohn here out of Hartford City, Indiana. He is also a very fast Spec Racer Ford driver. He is at the top of the leaderboard, which means absolutely nothing here in this first lap or two. And probably won't mean anything until we get to our last 5 laps of the day here of this session with this drying out racetrack. I would be very surprised if any of these cars are out here that aren't on dry tires at this point in time. Definitely a dry enough racetrack for that until, of course, it rains again. But right now, I'm almost 100% certain that there aren't any cars out here on wet tires at this point. And there really is no intermediate tire here in this for this class of cars. There's no real way. There is still that little river running through there between 10 and 11. Other than the fact that you get a little bit of moisture on your tires before you make that left-hander there, really kind of the best place to have a river go through it if you're going to, because the cars are kind of pointed straight at that point in time. Shouldn't cause any issues for anybody at this point in time. They all know it's there, so they'll be able to negotiate it. Here comes our first group of cars across the line for what is essentially the first hot lap of the day. Our purple lap so far right now, Jace Petty with a 1:44.809. That will not stand up here that time. Jace might be able to keep up on top, but he's going to have to probably put some better times in for that to happen. As the track dries, there'll be even faster times. So, oh, look at that car. Get a little bit sideways there going through the keyhole. Just stepped out a tiny bit, was able to pull it back pretty easily. So, as I said, a drying track and not a dry track. Big difference. Top 5 after that first lap: Jace Petty, Carter Kunkel, Chris Jennerjohn, Bobby Sack, and Mark Greb. That's how they stand right now. Just getting through their second hot lap here. Part of the situation, and this is probably the driest racetrack that this group has seen today, still pretty wet for their practice session this morning. The track didn't start drying out this morning until about group number 4, and got to be almost dry. And then just before the GT1 big bore group came out, skies opened again, and those GT1 cars basically had a completely soaked racetrack for their qualifying session. So the middle section of the morning, groups maybe 4, 5, and 6 had a relatively dry racetrack, and 7. Group 8 then, though, really, really wet, and it's been dry now for an hour or so, and now with cars on the racetrack, it's drying out really, really quickly. Oh, there is a car off at the exit of turn 1. I don't believe they got to the wall there. The problem that they might have is getting out of the grass. Wet grass makes it difficult, and I think there might be gravel out there too, I think. And he could be stuck in that. That would be problematic. I'm hearing they're going to have to tow that car out. So that car is in the gravel trap, and that's probably going to cause us to slow this thing down again like we had last time. But we'll see what race control decides to do. Nothing at the moment yet. I see probably a local yellow there at 1. Our timing pylon is where the flag station is, but I suspect there's a local yellow there. Or actually, the flag station might be on the entrance of 1, right? So the flag station's on driver's right about where that Hoosier Super Tour bug is there. So I'm guessing there's a local yellow there, and I see a white flag here at start-finish to let people know that there is going to be a rescue car, and that is the rescue car coming at the moment. Go make a determination how they need to get that car out of there. So right now, the fast lap, another quick one here, Bobby Sack, former national champion. He just dropped a fast lap of 1:41.496. That moves Jace Petty down to second place. Carter Kunkel down to third. Morgan Burkhart, then James Goffrey. That's their top 5 at the moment. Oh, there's another car that just went off and is now sliding on the front straight right in front of us. And it is not hit anything, which is good. And it is stuck in the grass, so that should be able to go if it can get going with the wet grass that's out there. The track always dries faster, and it has to go a little uphill to get out of there. I think he'll find a way. Yeah, he's backing up so that he can get a quicker run downhill towards the turn 1, but maybe he can get enough momentum to get himself out of the grass. There's just a little lip, get back on the racetrack, and because of the wet grass, it's a lot of spinning tires. With 2 cars in trouble here. Now he's backing up a little bit farther to try to get some more traction. You know what he's doing? This would not be good. I hope he's not trying to back himself onto the racetrack, because it's a rear-wheel drive car and a rear engine car. So all of the weight is over the rear wheels. Trying. He is trying. Yeah, it is just so wet. And there is a tow truck now heading out to come to the assist. I can't see the car number. Is that 129? 198. So the orange car off here on the front straight is James Lebecco in the 198 car. I still don't have a car number on the car off of turn 1. Question in the chat, does Mid-Ohio do hot pulls? The answer is yes, as long as the drivers heed the yellow flags. That is a situation here, and we've got the car coming. Now the car's backed itself onto the front straight, and I'm not quite sure how the stewards are going to feel about that move. I suspect they will be significantly unhappy about that. But at least, I won't say at least, but he is cleared and he's now moved on. I get the desire to do that, but I'm not exactly sure that's not going to get a talking to. Anyway, so that car has been freed from the surly bonds of the Mid-Ohio grass, and it has decided to move on. Still working to get that car in a safe spot here at turn 1. All right, keeping a look now. Because of the incident in 1, it's really hard for cars to put in a hot lap at this point in time because they really do have to slow down there. So nothing has really, or not much has changed up front. Grant Vogel has popped up to P3 at the moment. He has moved into that position. Bobby Sack, still your fast car with a 140.019. Then you've got Jace Petty, Grant Vogel, Tyler Stevens, James Goffrey, Peyton Long. Morgan Burkhart is the car number 27, is in 7th place. Looking to see the other cars that are... The one car that hasn't made very many laps is the Liam Flanagan car, which makes me think that is the car that's stuck out there at the exit of 1. That car has not completed any laps. So that's my guess there, that is the 92 car that they're trying to get out of there. "13 minutes to go here in our 25-minute qualifying session. This camera here is going to be a blast for the starts of our races, because basically your entire field is going to come right into your living room here when we get ready to go racing tomorrow. So that's a great camera position here. Let's run through our top 10 here, and then we will take our break. Bobby Sack is your fast car at the moment, followed by Jace Petty, Tyler Stevens, Grant Vogel, James Goffrey, 6 through 10, Peyton Long, Morgan Burkhart, Carter Kunkel, Mark Greb, and Cliff White. That is your top 10 right now here at Mid-Ohio. Let's take our break. I will do a call to grid. We'll take our break. When we come back, hopefully we'll go green all the way to the finish. Attention in the paddock, attention in the paddock. Group 3 cars to the grid. Formula V, Formula 6, and Formula F. Group 3 cars to the grid for your qualifying session. We'll take our break. When we come back, the rest of qualifying for Group 2. You are watching the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour. We are live at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. For over 25 years, championship-winning drivers and teams have demanded Hawk Performance Motorsports brake pads. Now you can have their advanced technology on your daily car, truck, or SUV with Hawk Performance Street products. With the improved HP Plus pad for the hybrid street and track feel, or Super Duty pads for tow vehicles, their all-new ER brake pad designed to take on even the longest race, and their all-new high-performance brake fluid. Hawk has all your braking needs covered. Visit HawkPerformance.com and like them on Facebook or Instagram to learn more about the Hawk Performance Advantage. Hawk Performance, what's stopping you?
As the official fuel partner, Sunoco has been helping the SCCA and their drivers perform at their peak since 2001. Mile after mile, race after race, Sunoco has trusted the fuel over 50 racing bodies, including the SCCA, SCCA Pro Racing, Trans Am, NHRA, and NASCAR. As the largest manufacturer of race fuels, they're passionate about helping drivers and teams take the lead. To find race gas near you, visit SunocoRacefuels.com or call Sunoco at 800-RACE-GAS.
Bravo Trailers is the exclusive trailer partner of the SCCA. Owned by longtime SCCA racers, Bravo Trailers work better, load easier, and tow better because we build them with racers in mind. Visit BravoTrailers.com to see your new trailer in aluminum or steel.
Get more bang for your buck at SummitRacing.com. Choose from millions of in-stock parts from over 1,500 name brands. Parts for racing, street performance, trucks, plus tools, accessories, and more. Shop anytime, anywhere with the Summit Racing app.
Mazda Vineyards is the exclusive sparkling wine for podium celebrations at the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour, SCCA Runoffs, and Tire Rack SCCA Pro Solo. Celebrate your racing weekend with Mazda Vineyards and learn more at enjoymazda.com.
If you like what you see today, become part of the action by joining the Sports Car Club of America. Whether you want to drive, flag, organize, officiate, have fun with cars, or meet 65,000 enthusiast friends, SCCA has plenty to feed your motorsport obsession. Ask someone trackside how to get involved or visit scca.com for more information.
All right, we're back here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. I'm Brian Bielanski. We're in the middle of the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour Group number 3 qualifying, or Group number 2 qualifying, Spec Racer Ford. And we have gone black flag all here, folks, to give an opportunity. It is so wet and it is so hard even to get course trucks out there because the grass is so wet. It just makes all of these extractions really, really problematic. And they tried for several laps to get that done, and just turns out they couldn't get that car out without slowing the cars down. So they have slowed us down here, and to be able to hopefully get this cleaned up really quick and then maybe get out for a lap or two here. Want to put a big thank you to everybody in the chat right now. I see Sheila Cocky. That's Morgan Burkhart's grandma. So she's rooting on Morgan from Virginia. Elijah Dobkins has joined us in the chat today. Also, Amy Jennings is here, rooting on Bobby Sack, I should say. So that is the situation here. If you're watching at home, hit the like button. We really appreciate that. That helps with the algorithm. If you haven't subscribed, why not? Hit that subscribe button. Even better, hit the bell so that when we go live, you get a warning and you can go, oh, wait, let's go racing. Let's go watch some racing. So do all that on the YouTube. We really appreciate that. Smash the like button. That's what Brendan tells me I'm supposed to say. That's how the kids say it. So, anyway. 8 minutes left in the session. Let's look at the running order now. You know what? I'm going to give you the top 20. Right now, Bobby Sack is your fast car. That is a 140.019. Then we've got Tyler Stevens, Jace Petty, Grant Vogel, and James Goffrey. Peyton Long is in 6, followed by Morgan Burkhart, Cliff White, Carter Kunkel, and John Vogel. That's your top 10 now. 11 through 15, Mark Greb, James Lebecco. Chris Jennerjohn is in 13th. Dave Anzalone is 14th, followed by Benjamin Brin. Then you've got Todd Vanacore in 15th, followed by Dave Lancaster, Ryan Gillenwater, Greg Brinkman, Jeremy Swank. That's your top 20. And since he came all the way from Abilene, Texas, so let's say Charles Pigeon, he is in 21st at the moment. So that's how they stand in the top 20 with 7 minutes and 22 seconds here. I don't know, Jordan, if you can pop up that turn 1 camera so we can see how the progress is going. That would be cool just for a few minutes. Oh, that is good news. I don't see the car there anymore. So hopefully they will be able to go and somewhere in the process on the last lap of before we went to black, Morgan Burkhart shot off a 139.8. I'm not quite sure how that happened, and I'm not exactly sure that that's correct. So we will wait to see how that gets sorted out. Yeah. I will take a peek at that, and we'll see if that gets corrected here at some point in time. That may have been a mistrip of a timing loop of somewhere. That should have been under the black lag. I don't know that that is exactly worked out. But anyway, we'll watch it. It's 6.5 minutes, 6 minutes left on the clock here. Horse truck there, getting back into position. Waiting to hear from our workers here to see if they're going to bring that black in and get us back to yellow to green flag. If we were to go back to green flag now, it's probably going to be 2 hot laps potentially. I'm hearing something here. Stand by. Okay, they're telling the drivers to restart their cars. That means we're going to get back on the racetrack here. They need to get out pretty quick, though, if they want more than one hot lap. May end up be just one, maybe two, but if nothing else happens, it will be exciting. I will expect a lot of drivers to put in their personal best here. All that I talked to you about the top 20 here, could be very, very different here in about 5 minutes and 15 seconds. Cars are back on the racetrack. You're going to see them coming out on turn 1 here. There they are. Buckle up your seatbelts here, folks. This one could be a bit wacky. Got 25 drivers who want to throw down a hot lap right here. 445 laps, just under around the 140 range. I think they're going to get 2 good laps in here once they get around to the start-finish line. That is going to be what they're trying to do. Again, these laps are going to count for the starting grid for tomorrow's race. This group tomorrow will go off at approximately 11 a.m. will be their race tomorrow. And then on Sunday, their race is going to be at approximately 8:55. All those times are Eastern. That is, we are an Eastern time zone racetrack, so all times are in Eastern this weekend when I'm talking about times. All right, here comes your cars now going through turn 5. They're heading down the hill towards turn 6. So they're going to come across the line here right around 3:30 to go in. They might even get 3 laps in. They can clip that start-finish line just before the checkered flag comes out. There's some cars, I think, out here that are going to get 3 good laps in, so. Interested in following along with the timing here while you've got maybe put the live stream up on your TV and watch the timing on your phone. You go to scca.com/live. And you can get the live timing screen from the club there. You can watch everything there. That would be in addition to watching the live stream, folks, not in lieu of. We want to keep you here watching. See how the track is pretty much dry through the apex of this particular corner. And a lot of the track looks that way. Still a little wet on the outside of that corner and kind of through the midsection. But that's really not the racing line unless you're too wide. This is an interesting perspective. I don't know that everyone really realizes the amount of elevation change through the keyhole here. This camera shows the elevation change really well. Yep, there we go. Yeah, that fast lap from Morgan Burkhart was rescinded, so I'm guessing that came in possibly after the black flag fell, and that's why it was just maybe a missed trip of a timing loop. So anyway, Bobby Sack back to the top of the field here with that 140.019. So that's going to be a tough time to beat here, but if there was any time in this session that would happen, it would be now. This portion of the track pretty much dry. That's good news for the next group coming out, Formula V, Formula 6, and Formula F. This, I think, is the only part of the regular racing line that still has water. So, and that'll start to dry out pretty quickly here. All right, so we're under 139 now. So anybody who crosses the start-finish line now is probably on their last lap. Anybody who crosses the start-finish line 30, 40 seconds ago is going to get 1 extra lap. And look at that, like I thought, a bunch of fast times coming down right now. It's going to be a lot like the last session, folks. Jace Petty just went purple with a 138.786. Bobby Sack went faster that lap. Actually, 4 cars went under 140 on that lap. Jace Petty, Bobby Sack, Tyler Stevens, and Grant Vogel all dipped below 140 on that lap. And the fast time was Jace Petty at a 138.7. Let's see if those cars can do it one more time. We will check out the times as they come across this final time. A big opportunity for some drivers to move up the leaderboard late here. The top 10, the names in the top 10 haven't changed much, but the order has changed a bunch here just in one lap. And with one more lap to go, I suspect that order is going to shake up again here. So don't go anywhere, folks. This last lap is going to be a big deal. As long as there's no local yellows in this final lap, we're going to see some really big times here as they come across the line one more time. The bogey time right now, 1:38, 1 minute, 38.766. That's what they're shooting for if they want to be on the front row. And Bobby Sack goes purple now with a 1:38.360. Jace Petty not any faster there. Nobody has bested that Bobby Sack time now. Looking at everybody as they cross the line one at a time, they are maybe going a little faster, but they're not going faster than the car in front of them. The positions have not changed. John Vogel now pops into 10th place with a 1:41.596, so he's now in your top 10 here. And looking at the time, I think that Bobby Sack, Jace Petty, and Tyler Stevens might get one more lap in here. I'm having a hard time telling. I didn't see where the checkered flag was when they flew. I was looking at the timing screen. So they may or may not be done, or they may get to click off one more lap here. Morgan Burkhart just topped to 6th on the field, and Cliff White has moved into 8th spot. So those are two cars who have moved up. Morgan Burkhart moves up to 6th, and Cliff White breaks into the top 10 for the first time today. All right, we've got cars coming onto the pit lane, which makes me believe that we're not going to get any more hot laps at this point. I'm going to look for one or two more cars just so I don't think there's one car decided to come on the pit lane. Looks like they all are. Yep. All right, so let's run down the top 10. These, of course, is provisional, but if it stands, your pole sitter in your front row will be Bobby Sack and Jace Petty. Row 2 will be Grant Vogel. Oh, I just saw one more car cross the line. That might be a runner, but they're not changing our top 10 order at all. Well, let's just double check. We've got a couple more cars coming across. Want to make sure none of them throws down a hot lap here. All right, so let's go through our top 10 here. Bobby Sack should be your front row with Jace Petty. Second row should be Tyler Stevens and Peyton Long. Third row, Grant Vogel and Mark Greb. Your fourth row, Morgan Burkhart and Cliff White. Row 5 will be, or should be, James Flanagan. James Lebecco and Liam Flanagan. That's where it stands right now at the end of qualifying for Group 2. Group 3 is up next. Let's take a break. You're watching the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour live from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hoosier Racing Tire is proud to be the presenting sponsor of SCCA Super Tour. Hoosier's mission is to be the dominant customer-driven provider of tires to race teams domestically and internationally. At Hoosier, we know that our success is dependent on how well we meet our customers' expectations by providing the safest, most reliable, high-quality race tires that put you in the winner's circle. For more information, see our trackside support personnel or the local Hoosier Racing Tire dealer near you, or contact us at HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Racing Tires, truly tires designed for champions.
Tire Rack was established over 40 years ago by an SCCA member with a passion to find the right tires, wheels, and now brakes and suspension products for racers and enthusiasts on both street and track. As official tire retailer of SCCA since 1995 and sponsor of the Runoffs Pole Award, along with the National Solo Program, Time Trial Nationals, and National Tour and Track Night in America. Tire Rack is proud to support the SCCA and its members as they go have fun with cars.
As the official fuel partner, Sunoco has been helping the SCCA and their drivers perform at their peak since 2001. Mile after mile, race after race, Sunoco has trusted the fuel over 50 racing bodies, including the SCCA, SCCA Pro Racing, Trans Am, NHRA, and NASCAR. As the largest manufacturer of race fuels, they're passionate about helping drivers and teams take the lead. To find race gas near you, visit SunocoRacefuels.com or call Sunoco at 800-RACE-GAS. Get more bang for your buck at SummitRacing.com. Choose from millions of in-stock parts from over 1,500 name brands, parts for racing, street performance, trucks, plus tools, accessories, and more. Shop anytime, anywhere with the Summit Racing app.
Hagerty is the official and exclusive insurance partner for SCCA and provides affordable off-track insurance protection for motorsports vehicles while in the paddock, in transit, in storage, and at the shop. Hagerty also provides guaranteed value coverage and even has protection for your trailer. Did you know that SCCA members can save 5% on insurance through Hagerty? Hagerty, let's drive together. Learn more at Hagerty.com.
Did you know that SCCA members save $20 on every Track Night in America they sign up for? That's right. Track Night in America, driven by Tire Rack, now hosting 150 events at more than 30 tracks across the country, is the easiest and most affordable way to get you and your friends on track in your street cars all season long. Visit tracknightinamerica.com to learn more and get yourself on track.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour. Time for Group 6 qualifying. You can still see a puddle there on pit lane, but the rest of that corner is dry on the racing line, and actually pretty well off the racing line too. So these skinny cars, there's a car and sticker tires going out. See how long it takes for the stickers to wear off there. This is Formula F, Formula 6, Formula V. A lot of Formula Vs here this weekend. A lot of cars trying to get some time in, qualify for the runoffs at Road America this year. So, in this group right now, one of our regular associate producers. We don't really root for anybody, but we can root for an associate producer. I've just declared that a thing. So, Bill Stasinski, not Bill Stasinski, Brian Stasinski. Well, Bill's out there too, but Brian's our chat master. So we want to wish him good luck out here. Really good field of Formula Vs this week. 25-minute qualifying session. This race group tomorrow is going to race at 11:40 a.m. Eastern Time approximately. And then it will race on Sunday at 9:50 a.m. Eastern Time. So if you tune it in just for these cars, first of all, why? You should be watching a lot of more than just cars. But if for a reason you only have time for this race group, those are your times for tomorrow, Sunday. If you're just tuning in now, we've got mostly dry conditions. We do have this one river. Look, I want to pull out my fly fishing rod and do a little river runs through it fly fishing here. But most of the rest of the racetrack, definitely on the racing line, is dry. There is our green flag in the air, so this will be our first real race lap here. Any times we have at the moment don't mean much. At least two of the Whitstons are here. I see Andrew and Steve. Not quite sure if the rest of the Whitston clan is joining us this weekend or not. Don't see any other Whitstons, so that is one of the big Formula V families here. Lots of families in these particular groups, especially Formula 6 and Formula V. These are typically classes that have a long time participants. Once you fall in love with these cars, you don't want to give them up. So there's our reigning national champion, Calvin Stewart, who just popped into the top spot again. This time doesn't mean anything, way too early in the session. But David Lapham is here with an F6 car. It says Commerce Township, Michigan. David and I go all the way back to the New York region when he was New York regional executive or assistant regional executive back in the day when I was the New York region flag chief. David Lapham was based out of New York. He and his daughter, I believe, both raced in Formula 6. I believe they both went to the runoffs at one point in time. We've got a spinner. That's a Formula V, one of the yellow ones here. That was a no harm, no foul spin. I don't know what the number is. I will listen to see if the flag net tells me. No, that's not the line call I was expecting. Someone lost a drive belt of some sort. Here comes the call for turn 6 on the spinner. All right, that was car number 08. Steve Whitston was Steve Whitston was the spinner in turn 6. He has continued on, and he will go on and go forth and prosper. Our top car right now, Cal Stewart in the F6 car, followed by Keith Joslin, and then David Lapham has now dropped down to 3rd at the top of the grid. So as we've learned over time, the fast F6 cars should be faster than the fast Formula F cars at most racetracks, proving to be the case here early on. Your top car in FF right now, Theodore Burns, followed by Calvin Kautz and Sven De Vries. Actually, Sven De Vries is another F6 car. He is in 6th overall. Then you've got Jason Martin, James Weida, Brian Farnham, and Greg Peluso. That's your top 10 at the moment. These are not going to be the times we have here at the end. There will definitely be some faster times here as this session moves on. Although we're going to get to the point in time now where enough of the racetrack is dry where that's not necessarily going to be the case. Because the track is pretty much dry as long as we don't have any more weather come through. I don't know if Jordan can pop up that radar for me one more time. Let's see where we're at with things. Yeah, I'm not too certain. There is some stuff in the area. Hopefully this might be stuff that's not heavy or maybe not even enough to get to the ground. But when I see green, that doesn't make me happy. So I don't think we are out of the woods yet for weather. But let's see how much of this session we can get in before the track gets to get wet. And at the moment, we've got a good dry race condition. So we'll keep an eye on all of that. All right, now we're getting the fact we're a little deeper into the session. We've got some hot tires now, so now we should start seeing times that could stand. Oh, and just as I was saying, we have rain falling in the chicane here. And all of these cars, I am certain, are out on dry tires. So, oh, whoa, well, there's two cars there. There's a Formula 6 and a Formula V at the top of the keyhole there. There's a fourth car. So these are all going to be cars that are going to start coming in and filtering in here. This is what we worry about when we know there's rain in the area. Now, I'm sure that I'm not the only person in the on the racetrack premises here with the ability to look at an app with the weather radar. So all of these drivers, I'm sure, knew that rain was coming, and we're like, I'm going to see what I can throw down. But I can tell you right now, the fast laps that are on the board right now, those are going to be the fast laps for the session. Nobody is going to go faster now, especially if we have to. Look, come on, you can do it. You can do it. Ah, good job. That car got back on the racing surface and has been able to move on. As we learned in the last session, very, very difficult to get some of these cars back on the racetrack once you get off because it's so wet in the grass. So my suspicion is one of two things are going to happen. All these guys are going to come down pit lane now and quickly try to switch to rain tires, or they're going to come down pit lane and just call it a day. Okay, yeah, we've got a car in turn 11 in the gravel. There it is right there. That looks like a Formula F car, maybe? So, can you tell me, Brendan, if these cars are going into the paddock, is my guess at the moment? Most of these cars coming in? Pit stalls. Okay, maybe they were ready to be able to switch tires here. Yeah, it is starting to rain harder in lots of different parts of the racetrack now. So this is where they would say we've lost the racetrack. Yep. Bring out the Air Titan. I don't think we've got one of those here this weekend. Bring out the Air Titan. And now a white flag is out because there's an emergency vehicle or just some slow race cars, but all the race cars are slow at the moment. So this is one of those situations, though, and I don't know if there's any special dispensation from the Pope here. If these cars go back, they can't change. Well, I think they can change tires and then come back out, but they'd have to get rid of all of their times, and no time is going to be faster after they put on rain tires than the 1 or 2 laps they got in before the rain started to fall. So there is a very good chance that Cal Stewart and Theodore Birds are going to be your front row here when we get to racing tomorrow morning. And this is going to be one of the groups who are going to have a split start tomorrow. So let me go to my notes. Group 3, yeah, the Formula Fs and the Formula 6s are going to start out front tomorrow, and the Formula Vs are going to start in the back. So it is very, very unlikely that anybody is going to put in, well, no, I'll say it right out flat. The fast times we have now are the fast times we've got. No one's going to go faster on wet tires. So we will see what the situation is here. Now I think we've got a black flag all. And that's because they got to get this car out here. Now we're back to our radar situation here. That purple dot in the center is our location right there. And you can see not only do we have rain over us right now, there's probably and I can't see the city back there, but I'm going to guess that's probably a 20-mile swath of a storm kind of all coming in our direction. So now it's not going to stop us from racing, but all of the cars in Spec Miata, I'm sure, are scrambling at the moment to put on rain tires, or they're just going to roll the dice and come out here and see what they can do if they don't have rain tires. They're going to give that car a yank once they get all the cars through there. They're not going to take any chance with the rain right now of trying to pull this car out until they know all the cars are clear of the racetrack. So that's what the black flag all is for. At some point in time, I'm thinking we're going to see these cars duck into the paddock and they're going to call it a day here. All right, so while we're waiting on that situation, let's take our break and do our call to grid, and then we'll come back and give you an update and see where we got after that.
And this is attention in the paddock, attention in the paddock. This is Group 4, Class SM, Spec Miata. This will be your first call to grid. This is Group 4, Spec Miata SM. This will be your first call to grid.
All right, let's take our break. When we come back, we'll get you caught up on the situation. You're watching the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour live from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Stay with us, everybody.
For over 25 years, championship-winning drivers and teams have demanded Hawk Performance Motorsports brake pads. Now you can have their advanced technology on your daily car, truck, or SUV with Hawk Performance Street products. With the improved HP Plus pad for that hybrid street and track feel, or Super Duty pads for tow vehicles, their all-new ER1 brake pad designed to take on even the longest race, and their all-new high-performance brake fluid, Hawk has all of your braking needs covered. Visit hawkperformance.com and like them on Facebook or Instagram to learn more about the Hawk Performance Advantage. Hawk Performance, what's stopping you?
Tire Rack was established over 40 years ago by an SCCA member with a passion to find the right tires, wheels, and now brakes and suspension products for racers and enthusiasts on both street and track. As official tire retailer of SCCA since 1995 and sponsor of the Ronoff's Polo Award, along with the National Solo Program, Time Trial Nationals, and National Tour and Track Night in America. Tire Rack is proud to support the SCCA and its members as they go have fun with cars.
As the official fuel partner, Sunoco has been helping the SCCA and their drivers perform at their peak since 2001. Mile after mile, race after race, Sunoco has trusted the fuel over 50 racing bodies, including the SCCA, SCCA Pro Racing, Trans Am, NHRA, and NASCAR. As the largest manufacturer of race fuels, they're passionate about helping drivers and teams take the lead. To find race gas near you, visit SunocoRacefuels.com or call Sunoco at 800-RACE-GAS.
Get more bang for your buck at SummitRacing.com. Choose from millions of in-stock parts from over 1,500 name brands. Parts for racing, street performance, trucks, plus tools, accessories, and more. Shop anytime, anywhere with the Summit Racing app.
Mazza Vineyards is the exclusive sparkling wine for podium celebrations at the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour, SCCA Runoffs, and Tire Rack SCCA Pro Solo. Celebrate your racing weekend with Mazza Vineyards and learn more at enjoymazza.com.
It's the 2024 Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour, the premier amateur road racing series bringing together top SCCA road racers from around the country. The Hoosier Super Tour visits some of the greatest tracks in North America, showcasing each of our 28 car classes. From production to GT cars, prototype to Formula cars, the Hoosier SCCA Super Tour packs a ton of wheel-to-wheel racing action into every event.
We're back here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour, brought to you by the Ohio Valley region. And this is the Great Lakes Race of Champions. Love the name. Not much racing going on right now. You can actually see on our camera the rain is falling here. All of the cars in this group came out on dry tires, so they put in their fast laps for the session. And we're under a black flag all because there was at turn 9, there's 80% track blockage, and that's no bueno. We don't like that happening, so that's why they stopped the session. And my suspicion is that we'll go back to green here, but I don't know anybody who's going to go back out. unless they want to try to see what they can do on a wet track with slick tires. Because if they were to go back into the paddock now and change tires, it would take away and come back out. Every car that comes back out would have to lose all of their times, and the times that came in the dry, and I'm seeing cars go behind the wall now pretty much consistently. So we will see if all of the cars go behind the wall, then they'll checker flag the session, and I'm just waiting for that to happen here. Then we can take our break. So it's a good time, though, to thank all of our corner workers who are standing out in these wonderful #miserable weather conditions here at the moment. It takes a special breed of person, a special amount of love for cars and racing to come out here and volunteer your time to come out on a Friday afternoon and do this. And we've got a whole cadre of people, not just us flaggers, but all of our other specialties, many of which have to be out in the elements. And that is an awesome thing that they do. We can't go racing without them. If you want to become part of this whole deal, it is great for you to come out. Go to SCCA.com. You can find out all the information about becoming a member. You can also come out to any of our races, well, most of our races. And if you see anybody dressed in white or dressed in yellow, that's typically what our grid workers wear. You can pop out here and talk with them. They're always happy to talk about what they do and why we love doing it. And that's how you can up. You can also go, most of our regions have Facebook groups you can jump in and ask questions as well, but we would love to have you come out and be a volunteer. You could also, many ways to come out and play with your own car, whether it's your street car or whether you have a track car or if you actually want to go out and buy a race car. All of that is possible here with the Sports Car Club of America. So again, SCCA.com is the place to go if you want to find out more about racing. Checking out here that, looking in the chat, got some. Stephen Davis says he's pretty sure cars do not lose their previous times if they go back. You're right. If they stay in pit lane and change tires, they can absolutely not lose their laps. But if they go behind the wall and change tires and come back, I think that's. If I didn't say that, that's what I was trying to say. They, as long as they change the tires on pit lane, they can absolutely change them and go back out, and then they would not lose their previous times. If they go behind the wall and change the tires and then come back, that's when they would lose their time. So thank you, Stephen Davis, for getting me to clarify that. So yeah, also tough for Brian Stasinski. This is his first race of the weekend, of the year, I believe. Had a little bit of troubles in practice. And now a wet session here calls. Is not getting a lot of track time here this morning before he goes racing tomorrow. So tough for him on that one. Nicholas Lang, it's Ohio, so snow wouldn't surprise me. Bite your tongue. I do not want snow this weekend. I did not bring clothes for snow. So we hope that. Looks like a lot of the Miatas who are already on the grid have gone back to their pits to get wet tires put on. So that's a mad scramble for those folks trying to get their cars ready to go out here. Clock is still rolling here with 6 minutes and 20 seconds to go. And I'm looking at starter here to see if they grab a flag. And the other part of not going to a checkered here also is because we're on a schedule and we can't start the next qualifying session until it's scheduled time, there really is no reason to go checkered flag early. Although that may be what's happening. Do I see it? It's hard for me to tell. Anyway, I don't see a checkered flag yet, officially. But yeah, so checkering it early doesn't really accomplish a whole lot because we can't start the next session until Group 4, which would be qualifying at 3:50 Eastern time. And the Spec Miatas definitely don't want to start early because they're all chasing back now to change tires. So many of them will use every bit of the next 15 minutes to go get their wet tires put on. So it makes sense not to go checker early here and let this thing just play out. And if one of those Formula Vs, maybe starting in the back, or one of those cars maybe starting in the back of their grid anyway, want to go get some wet tire time out there, they could change tires real quick and come back out. So lots of scenarios here. But you can see it is raining hard on several areas of the racetrack, if not across the entire racetrack. So not a whole lot doing here. So this is round 15 of the Hoosier Racing Tire Super Tour. Round 16 is Sunday. Want to remind everybody that the next race up on our schedule is going to be at Watkins Glen, and the dates for that race are going to be May 31st. June 1st and June 2nd. That's going to be at Watkins Glen. And Greg Ginsburg will be back with the call with Larry Lefty McLeod. We'll be doing that race. And then our final race of the Super Tour is the WeatherTech Chicago Region June Sprints at Road America, June 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. We'll be back with all of those races as well. So after this weekend, hard to believe only 2 Super Tours left here in 2024. So it's been a great season so far. And I can actually hear the rain now on the top of the control tower, so it is coming down and coming down hard. And I just heard that the checker flag is coming out on the session, and that's going to do it here. So let's run through the times as we have them for race group number 3. These are our qualifying times for tomorrow. Let me pull them back up. These are our provisional times. Let me clarify that. Right now, your front row looks like it's going to be Calvin Stewart and Theodore Burns. Your second row will be Keith Joslin and Calvin Kautz. Then your third row, James Weeda and Ben DeVries. Your fourth row would be David Lapham and Jason Martin. And in your fifth row will be James Dietz and Greg Peluso. Now, your Formula V field is going to be a split start. The front row in your Formula Vs are going to be Brian Farnham and Andrew Whitston. Second row, Steve Whitston and Brandon Abbott. Your third row, Bill Stasinski and Mark Farnham. With your fourth row being John Adams. That would be John S. Adams, not John Quincy Adams. John Adams. I'm glad he clarified it with the S, because I probably wouldn't have known. John Adams and Brian Stasinski. And then row number 5 for Formula V will be Rick Shields and Paul McClory. That's how they're going to stand provisionally our starting grid for tomorrow. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll have Spec Miata qualifying. That's next on the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
We're not supposed to be out here. Outside expectations. Built for the outdoors. With the capability to climb this high, we're not supposed to be out here. Which is exactly why we are. The off-road ready Mazda CX-50. We're looking for outsiders.
This is the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour, live from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Guy talking, I'm Brian Bielanski. Cars heading to the racetrack, they're Spec Miatas. After a pretty strong deluge at the end of the last session, rain has slowed, if not stopped. A lot of these cars going out right now ran from the grid back to their pits to put on rain tires. But here's the problem. I'm getting reports from turn number 4 about a dry line already forming at turn number 4. So if that continues, there's going to be a lot of cars here looking for little puddles to drive through here late in this session. These are Spec Miatas. We have, let's do the little car count here. We have 38 of them entered into this race. We'll know more here in just a little bit about how many actually go out in these conditions. I'm guessing all of them will go out. We'll also find out if any of them decide to throw in the towel on the early times, go get dry tires unless their crew can come to pit lane and change the tires in pit lane, which is absolutely possible. Checking in with our associate producers in the chat. Let's see, anything good here? Definitely a wet tire track, Nicole says. Well, Nicole, I think you're right for this first half, but at some point in time, that might not be the best decision. We'll find out, won't we? Let's see. Had some people miss the start of the race a few years ago, so now they won't start groups early. Yep, that's exactly why. Hard to put a schedule out, and if you think you're getting ready to go at 11:30 and they start the race at 11:40, 11:20, and you're not ready, that makes people very unhappy. So that's a good question, Nicole. Did anybody roll the dice and just said we're going to stay out on wets, on dries? And that might have been the best decision if that decision was made. So there's still a lot of wet spots, as you can see here, but I don't see a ton of rooster tails at the moment. That's a telltale sign. You can see the elevation change on that particular part of the racetrack, so that would let the water roll off pretty quickly. Drainage is important here. Here's some wet stuff. Now that little strip there right before the 200 marker, that wet part stayed for the entire day so far, so that will be an opportunity to dry some tires if it is needed. But we've got our cars now going through for the first time here. So that first out lap, none of those times are going to mean anything to anybody at the moment. You can see very wet weather here in turn 1. Now, why are those cars not heading to the apex? Well, on a wet racetrack, often just off the racing line is the fast way to go. Now, this is a brand new racetrack with not a lot of rubber on it, so it's interesting to know whether or not that is the right way to go here around here with the new surface and not a lot of rubber. These cars all negotiating pretty well, so it looks to me like all these cars are on wet tires. I don't see anybody getting too loosey-goosey. That would be a telltale sign that someone rolled the dice. Oh, well, there's a trouble already in the keyhole. Oh, do not go onto that area. That might be hard to get back on the racetrack, but oh, good on you to get going. Hopefully I can pick up a car number here as it goes by. Maybe 38, 28. Hold on, let me get a call here. All right, we had 176 white, spun in turn 2. And we've got a car in at turn 1 in the gravel. That's 95. Car number 95. Let me look down here. Yep. There's the car there. I don't see a 95. Oh, there it is, Bruce Bannister. So that car there is Bruce Bannister. Then we had another car, which I've forgotten the number on that one since I heard it. That one spun in 2 and continued. And I think there was a car that spun in turn 3. So waiting to hear that car number. That was the one we saw initially. All right, that car there is, I'm hearing, about 10 feet. The car in turn 1's about 10 feet off the racing surface. I'm pretty certain they're not going to like that there. I'm trying to listen to the radios and talk to you all at the same time. Looking at our wet track times right now, your fastest time at the moment, 1:59.181. That's Justin Heil. Hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Sean Varwig is got the second fastest time at the moment. Tyler Brown is your third place car at the moment. And fourth place right now is Stuart McAleer. As we learned earlier, and Tim Adelson in the chat reminds us, it is really hard to get out of the grass. But I think that car in turn one's in the gravel trap, which obviously you definitely need to get a tug out of that. Here comes our first safety vehicle down there. They will make a determination of what is needed to get that car free. We'll wait to see what they find out. You'll see that safety car heading into our view any moment now. We also now have car 27 in China Beach. I think we got a shot at China Beach. That would be our turn 4 or 5 camera. Oh, that's that camera has been attacked by our weather. So, but that's, yep, that is, what number did I say? Maybe. Anyway, we've got some stuff going on in a lot of different places. So. Yeah, we're hearing too many calls to figure out all of them at the moment, but several spins and continues at different places on the racetrack. We got one car at China Beach, and I see a full course yellow there, but I haven't heard that get called just yet. Okay. That car is no longer in the gravel trap. It is in the grass. Hopefully they can get it out here. We're at 17 minutes and 30 seconds left to go on the clock. Still no improvement. Now that car is good there. Nice job by the safety crew to get that car clear and out of there. Now maybe they can hustle down to turn 5, unless there's already somebody down there, and take a look at the car at China Beach. They can get that car out as well without going full course. So that would be fantastic news for everybody. Yes, that is the car right there in China Beach, just in the sand, or just in the gravel there. So that is another situation where getting that one free probably won't be too difficult to do once they can get down there. So we will see what happens there. Now I'm seeing the double yellow come out at this start-finish stand. I haven't seen our timing and scoring go double yellow yet. Now I'm seeing the double yellow come out at this. Our top 5 at the moment as we go double yellow: Justin Heil, Brandon Collins, Stuart McAleer, Matthew Novak, and Tyler Brown. That's our top 5 as they stand at the moment. As we go to double yellow, let's do this. Let's do a call to grid, and let's take our break in this group. Let's do this right now. Let's do that, and then we will come back and hopefully get that out, and we can go green here pretty quickly. Stand by. Attention in the paddock. Attention in the paddock. Group 5 cars to the grid. Group 5, FE2, Prototype 1, Prototype 2. FE2, Prototype 1, Prototype 2 to the grid. Let's take our break. When we come back, we'll have the rest of this qualifying session. You're watching the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour here from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
Hoosier Racing Tire is proud to be the presenting sponsor of SCCA Super Tour. Hoosier's mission is to be the dominant customer-driven provider of tires to race teams domestically and internationally. At Hoosier, we know that our success is dependent on how well we meet our customers' expectations by providing the safest, most reliable, high-quality race tires that put you in the winner's circle. For more information, see our trackside support personnel or the local Hoosier Racing Tire dealer near you, or contact us at HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Racing Tires, truly tires designed for champions.
Mazza Vineyards is the exclusive sparkling wine for podium celebrations at the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour, SCCA Runoffs, and Tire Rack SCCA Pro Solo. Celebrate your racing weekend with Mazza Vineyards and learn more at enjoymazza.com.
Tire Rack was established over 40 years ago by an SCCA member with a passion to find the right tires, wheels, and now brakes and suspension products for racers and enthusiasts on both street and track. As official tire retailer of SCCA since 1995 and sponsor of the Runoffs Pole Award, along with the National Solo Program, Time Trial Nationals, and National Tour and Track Night in America. Tire Rack is proud to support the SCCA and its members as they go have fun with cars.
As the official fuel partner, Sunoco has been helping the SCCA and their drivers perform at their peak since 2001. Mile after mile, race after race, Sunoco has trusted the fuel over 50 racing bodies, including the SCCA, SCCA Pro Racing, Trans Am, NHRA, and NASCAR. As the largest manufacturer of race fuels, they're passionate about helping drivers and teams take the lead. To find race gas near you, visit SunocoRacefuels.com or call Sunoco at 800-RACE-GAS.
Bravo Trailers is the exclusive trailer partner of the SCCA. Owned by longtime SCCA racers, Bravo Trailers work better, load easier, and tow better because we build them with racers in mind. Visit BravoTrailers.com to see your new trailer in aluminum or steel.
If you like what you see today, become part of the action by joining the Sports Car Club of America. Whether you want to drive, flag, organize, officiate, have fun with cars, or meet 65,000 enthusiast friends, SCCA offers plenty to feed your motorsports obsession. Ask someone trackside about how to get involved or visit SCCA.com for more information. Welcome back to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. I'm looking at the start-finish stand here, and the green flag is in the air. That is a big, good sign. 12 and a half minutes to go. We are back to full course green action here. Just got a note in the chat from Nicole Cooper-Cephalo, says Justin Heil is Mr. Mid-Ohio. Well, he's certainly showing it here. Right now, early on, he is our fast car, but now that we have hopefully a clear racetrack, that may many other drivers may be able to start getting it on here, and we'll see if they're able to get some time to put in here and catch Justin Heil. The time right now to beat a 158.154, 158.154. Still a fairly damp racetrack, so these drivers are going to have to tiptoe a little bit, and then you're going to get to the point where if they're out on wet tires and the track dries out too much, that could be really problematic as well. But we will watch to see who starts putting down big laps here. You can still see some rooster tails there, and they're still not hitting the apex at 1. So that makes me believe that they're still pretty wet down there. A lot of drifting here through the chicane. Cars seem to be locked in pretty well. This is the long backstretch shot. We'll be using that Honda start stand here for the starting of all of our races this weekend. The finish will be at the main straight at this start-finish line. Thank you, Jordan, for popping that up for me. All of the finishes and restarts will happen on the main straight, but the start of the races will happen on the back straight. A lot of that has to do with the fact, if you look at our Spec Miata field here, we've got 40 drivers. Really hard to get 40 cars lined up for that little short front straight. So that's why we utilize the back straight for the start-finish, the starts of the races. Yep, everyone's staying off the apex here through the carousel as well. Justin Heil just turned the fast lap of the session with a 157.532. Stuart McAleer has jumped up to second place, and that is, and it's Hilly. It's pronounced Hilly. Okay, so let's thank you to Miles in the chat. Justin Hilly. Oh, we've got another car in the gravel at China Beach, and that one is deep into China Beach. That's going to take some work to get that one out. We're going to go black flag all here one more time. Thank you, Miles. I appreciate the help. I always appreciate the help in the chat when I get a name wrong. And I say slicks, I should say dries, because I guess technically these cars aren't slicks, although there is very little tread on a dry Spec Miata tire. But there is probably one line of tread. So yes, I probably shouldn't call them slicks. I should call them dry tires, technically speaking. All right, let's look at the running order now with this black flag all. And that is Justin Hilly in the lead, the top spot with a 157.532, only 0.2 of a second faster than Stuart McAleer. He is your second fastest car right now, followed by Matthew Novak, Travis Wiley, Sean Varwig, Nick Leveroni is in 6th, followed by Jonathan Davis, Tyler Brown, and Brandon Collins. Matthew Dirks is your top 10. That's where they stand right now. Travis Wiley, Sean Varwig, Nick Leveroni is in 6th, followed by Jonathan Davis. Cooper Cephalo says a few cars went out on dry tires. I'm wondering, I don't see a big split in the time. So oftentimes when a couple of cars go out in dry tires, they look really slow or really fast, depending on what it is. But the gap between first and 10th place are pretty consistent, you know, a couple tenths of a second. So I don't know how many of them are on different tire strategies here, but it would be interesting to know where the time break is. That's always what you're looking for. When one car or two cars starts to make a really fast laps and the others are still slow, that's kind of how we can tell which cars went out on a different tire strategy. Doesn't appear in the top 10 that's happened, but that is something we do look out for. Brad Childs always says we always do a nice job. Thank you, Brad. I appreciate that. We do the best we can. 7 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm not quite certain we're going to be able to get this one restarted because that car in... Oh, well, with that little tugger vehicle there with the big tires, that's going to help get cars out of China Beach a lot faster than I was expecting, because that car doesn't have to worry about getting stuck in China Beach, that little tractor doohickey thing, dingling thing. That's my new term for the day. That little tractor dingling thing is going to have no problem yanking cars out of there. And I think it also has a lifting feature, so if it's a formula car, it can probably snag a car by the roll cage if they need to. So that's an awesome thing to have here. That I think that's a, well, new since I've been here. I haven't been here in 20 years. That is, yeah, that's a thing of beauty, getting that car out really quick. Even on this camera, we'll be able to get a car number here. Now, the problem is, how much gravel is that car going to put on the racetrack when it gets out? Because that's like a shovel being pulled backwards. And I wouldn't want to be behind that car when they turn over the motor, because it's going to blow all that gravel out the exhaust pipe. And if you're within 5 feet, you're going to get road rash on your shins. Don't ask me how I know. You only make that mistake once as a corner worker. Don't. All right, that car is going. Thankfully, it's downhill on the grass, so should be able to get it. And hopefully he'll stay off the line here, which he's doing at the moment, trying to get that stuff off the tires before he gets to the racing line. And if he's nice, he'll drive right past the apex. There you go. Stay off the racing line. And I have no idea what car number that is. Anyway. All right. 5.5 to go. If we can get these cars back out there, they'll probably get 2 good hot laps in if no one else ends up in the kitty litter. We'll see what happens. Also, wouldn't be terribly surprised if a couple of cars went in and called it a day. That's possible too. Do another call to grid here real quick while we got the time. Attention in the paddock, attention to the paddock. FE2, Prototype 1, Prototype 2, Group 5 to the grid. FE2, Prototype 1, Prototype 2 cars to the grid for your qualifying session. All right, 4.5 to go coming up by now. Just waiting for the word. They're letting these cars catch up. Maybe these cars were held on the racetrack before and they had to do their black flag all and stop. That's the only thing I can think about here. And they're trying to let these cars get onto pit lane. Letting the cars out of pit lane now, so they say they're going to. They've been told to let them out of pit lane. John Deere green is what I'm told. I don't know that that tractor was actually John Deere green. That looked more bluish to me than green. You know, but everyone loves their big green tractor, so yeah, it might, yeah, whatever the Tim Adelson, great job to the tow team. Absolutely bang up job by our safety crew getting us back going. This is twice now they've been able to yank cars up and get us going fast. So 3:42 left. When they come around for the green flag the next time on their hot lap, there's going to be about 2 minutes left in this session. So if there's no more problems, there's 2 hot laps in the works here. The tough time is now that they know they've only got 2 laps, they get really, really racy, and sometimes that means they get really, really off the racetrack. So we will wait to see what that happens. Justin Hilly now trying to hold on for the pole in this race. He's got a 157.532. Now the track has dried some even while they were just sitting on pit lane waiting to go back to green. So we might get some more fast laps here as this session comes to an end. Yeah, the problem with China Beat is that little turn 5 area, 4-5 right here, is it's kind of off camber a little bit, and once you get off of the racing line, it pitches you away, and then you're just on a ride all the way into China Beach. So far, everybody's negotiating it pretty well. You don't want to be the guy that goes into China Beach, the third car to stop the racing for the day. All right, here comes our first set of cars through the carousel, and they will be coming down towards the green flag here. Now they're going to be on a hot lap with 2 to go here, so these cars will definitely get 2 hot laps here. Let's see what happens as they keep going, coming through for this probably second to last hot lap. Right now, it's Justin Hilly, Stuart McAleer, Matthew Novak, and Travis Wiley. Will they be that order at the end of this session? Time will tell. Everyone is looking good at this point in time. Track definitely drying out in different areas. The good news is for the drivers that did go out on wet tires, that stoppage allowed those tires to cool down a little bit. And the biggest problem with wet tires on a drying racetrack is heat. Heat is your enemy. So to be able to come in and let those tires cool down some, that's probably going to give them a shot to do 2 really hot laps here, 2 real flyers before this is over without having to worry about those wet tires going away. So coming down to 1 minute to go here. Justin Hilly, Stuart McAleer, Matthew Novak, Travis Wiley. That's how they stood before the black flag. Now when they come across the line a second time, this will be the telltale. The telltale sign as to what the situation is and whether there's enough dry racetrack here for them to put in some really good laps. Here comes the lead part of the field through 8 and 9. Now down through Thunder Valley. Ooh, that looks cool, even though we don't like that. But when you're going through Thunder Valley and you see that digital breakup, love that. There they are going through the wet part of the racetrack there. All right, here comes our field now through the carousel. When they cross the start-finish line, we'll start to get an idea if they're going to throw down faster laps. What is the situation here coming across the line? Tyler Brown jumps into second place, but still not enough to oust Justin Hilly. But right there, Nick Leveroni takes the top spot. Then it's Sean Varwig with the top spot. We're going to see possibly a bunch of purple laps here over these last 2 laps. So now Hilly is in 4th with Varwig and Leveroni up top. Matthew Novak is in 3rd. That is the way it's working right now. All those cars are going to get 1 more lap now. The checkered flag is in the air for the cars in the back half of the field, but the first 10, maybe 15 cars across the line are going to get this last lap to count. Oh, there's a car went way wide. That could have been either the 20 car or the 30 car. Not exactly sure. Let me see if I can hear that one as we come across the line a final time. So right now, your purple lap, Sean Varwig, a 56.713. That would be a 156.713. Second place right now, Stuart McAleer, is a 56.8. So 186. .186, the difference between first and second place right now. All right, and I'm pretty certain everybody has taken the checkered flag now. So our provisional top 10 right now after the qualifying session. Let me make sure that these cars are going in and not coming around one final. Oh, yeah, we got one final time. So here's our top 10 cars that came through at the last time. Let's see if any of them pull a fast lap here. Tyler Brown has now taken over pole position with a final lap of 155.656. That bumps Nick Leveroni down. He put in a personal best, but it wasn't enough for the pole. Nick Leveroni now jumps to second place. Sean Varwig was our pole sitter a lap ago. He's now down to third. His last lap not fast enough. Then we got Stuart McAleer, who has jumped to the pole position here right at the last minute. That car now a 156.326. So now I think we've had all of our cars cross the line, but in that last group, getting one more lap was critical. Stuart McAleer is your provisional pole sitter, followed by Tyler Brown, Nick Leveroni, Sean Varwig. That would be row 1 and 2. Then you've got Jonathan Davis and Travis Wiley provisionally in row 3, followed by Matthew Novak, Justin Hilly. It would be row 4, and row 5 right now would be Brandon Collins and Matthew Dirks. All right, that's going to do it for race qualifying for race group 4. When we come back, we'll have our final qualifying of the day, FE2, P1, and P2. That's next. Stay with us. This is the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour. We are live from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We'll be right back. Race group 4. When we come back, we'll have... For over 25 years, championship-winning drivers and teams have demanded Hawk Performance Motorsports brake pads. Now you can have their advanced technology on your daily car, truck, or SUV with Hawk Performance Street products. With the improved HP Plus pad for the hybrid street and track feel, or Super Duty pads for tow vehicles, their all-new ER brake pad designed to take on even the longest race, and their all-new high-performance brake fluid. Hawk has all your braking needs covered. Visit hawkperformance.com and like them on Facebook or Instagram to learn more about the Hawk Performance Advantage. Hawk Performance, what's stopping you?
Tire Rack was established over 40 years ago by an SCCA member with a passion to find the right tires, wheels, and now brakes and suspension products for racers and enthusiasts on both street and track. As official tire retailer of SCCA since 1995 and sponsor the Runoffs Pole Award, along with the National Solo Program, Time Trials Nationals and National Tour, and Track Night in America, Tire Rack is proud to support the SCCA and its members as they go have fun with cars.
Mazza Vineyards is the exclusive sparkling wine for podium celebrations at the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour, SCCA Runoffs, and Tire Rack SCCA Pro Solo. Celebrate your racing weekend with Mazza Vineyards and learn more at enjoymazza.com.
Get more bang for your buck at summitracing.com. Choose from millions of in-stock parts from over 1,500 name brands. Parts for racing, street performance, trucks, plus tools, accessories, and more. Shop anytime, anywhere with the Summit Racing app.
Hoosier Racing Tire is proud to be the presenting sponsor of SCCA Super Tour. Hoosier's mission is to be the dominant customer-driven provider of tires to race teams domestically and internationally. At Hoosier, we know that our success is dependent on how well we meet our customers' expectations by providing the safest, most reliable, high-quality race tires that put you in the winner's circle. For more information, see our trackside support personnel or the local Hoosier Racing Tire dealer near you, or contact us at HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Racing Tires, truly tires designed for champions.
Welcome back to the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour. We are live at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Our final qualifying session of the day, 25 minutes left. And this is FE2 and Prototype 1 and 2. At the moment, we have a whole gaggle of FE2 cars and 2 prototypes. So we have a Prototype 1 car, Daryl Schaff. He's got an Elon DPO2. And then we've got William Niemeyer. I'm not sure if it's Bill or William, but on the grid sheet, it's William. He is in a Sorcerer P2 car. I believe that's an old S2000 car that is now classed in P2. Oh, I see another P2 car's popped in here. That would be Vaughn Scott. And look at a bunch of other cars popping in. So a little speaking early for the number of cars. A nice P2 field. Todd Vanacore is in a P1 car. So yeah, wait for some more cars to cross the line. But a ton of FE2 cars here this weekend. That will be fun. The big question for these cars, do you go out on dry tires or wet tires? I think the decision-making process is, do you think it's going to rain again? Because if you don't think it's going to rain again, I'm pretty certain this is a dry tire racetrack right now. If you think there's a chance it's going to rain before it's over, and if you look at the radar, that is still up in the air, you might roll the dice and throw on some wet tires and wonder if maybe you can get through the first few laps and then it may start raining. So that will be the question. Was there anybody being daring out there? And if they are, the problem will be if it does rain, that unlike a race where you can come from behind and catch up, if they put on a couple of really fast laps right now on the dry-ish racetrack and it does open up in rain, even with rain tires, you're not going to beat those fast times. So I think probably everyone's out here trying to throw down a lap on dry tires. That makes sense to me. But hey, what do I know? James Lebeco is our first to cross the line. He'll be putting our first hot lap. Vamos Wazinski. I get the Vamos part. Is there a Wazinski in the track here? Let me look. I don't see one, but oh yes, Eric Wisniewski. Wisniewski. Yes, you know, as a Polish guy, I should know Wisniewski. Anyway. There we go. Steve Whitston is in the group here. He's also racing in Formula V. He's a double dipper this weekend. For those of you who might be new to what we do, double dippers, those are drivers driving in more than one race in a weekend. Sometimes they do it in the same car, like a lot of the Miatas can do Spec Miata and Super Touring. So that is often the case, or a touring car. But this case is you've got 2 open wheelers here. You've got Steve Winston in FV and here in 2. All right, all our cars on their first hot lap. So the next one will be the first wheel flyer, and we'll get a good idea of who is turning fast laps here. You really want to put down a good one here, because if there is weather coming, nothing will happen fast after this track gets more wet. That is the consideration that all these drivers made. Looking at our cars, and there it is, our first hot lap. James Lebeco with a 1:37.746 with the first purple lap of the day. Daryl Schaff, your second fastest car at the moment. Blake Pigeon, who was just outside the top 10 in Spec Racer Ford, third place here in FE2. Steve Whitson, that Formula V driver, he's pretty good in the FE2 car as well. He is in fourth place right now with a 1:39.7. And we've got Sebastian Naranjo. He is your fifth place car. Then you've got Eric Wisniewski in the number 16 FE2 car, followed by Darrell Willis, Dexter Zuba, and Jonathan Weisheit. There's your top 9. Ooh, Jonathan Weisheit just dropped down to 10. I believe that's because Adam Jetterjohn just moved into the 5th spot. So drivers trying to put down good laps right now here with 20 minutes to go, because I think they're worried that we might get some more weather. Might have another car off at turn 1. I don't know. I'm hearing some chatter on the radio. Okay, then my director's telling me that they don't see anything in turn 1 and there's no flag. I don't know what they're talking about, or maybe I'm just hearing things. Ooh, that car looked like it was going to try to go underneath that FE2 car, and that could have been really... I think we've got a prototype that's a little slower, and it maybe caught that FE2 car a little off guard there, not expecting the prototype to be that slow at that moment. Oh, there's trouble in the carousel. That car may have been in the wall. Yeah, definitely no nose cone on that car. I sure hope that the transponder in that car was not in the nose cone. Yep. Oh yeah, there is a nose right off in the left corner, right by the number 8. Oh, that when we had the screen up, yeah, right there, right by the number 8, you can see the nose cone there. Oh, that could be. That could be. We'll know more down pit lane here in just a minute, my guess. But yeah, if the transfer's in the nose cone, which would make sense to me, he won't get any times here. All right, so that was our provisional pole sitter who went off and lost his nose cone. That is James Lebecco. $18.44 left in this session. So Bill Niemeyer, the P2 car, that used to be a D Sports racer when it was first came out. So that's what we know about that car. Yeah, some very interesting cars in that Prototype 2 class. The D Sports racers, the Sports 2000s, all of those cars ended up being lumped into Prototype 2. So it's a wide variety of makes and models and power plants. That makes that class really, really interesting to watch. Todd Vanacore has jumped to P2 overall. He is your fastest P1 car right now, followed by Daryl Schaff. Under 17 minutes to go here. Todd Vanacore is now going purple. He is your fast car in this session, 132.460. Vanacore is in first, followed by James Lebecco, still holding that fast spot in FE2 despite going off in losing his nose. Daryl Schaff is in second. Vanacore, your reigning runoffs champion, so no surprise that he's at the top of the chart here for P1. Now you've got Daryl Schaff back in P2 overall. Those P1 cars on a dry racetrack should be faster than the FE2 cars, no question. Then you've got your top 10, 11, 12 in FE2, Steve Whitston, Blake Pigeon, James Lebecco. So now Whitston and Pigeon have taken Lebecco off the top spot in P1, or in FE2, and he's not going to be able to probably get a faster time in now, unless he was able to come in and get a new nose put on that car. That's possible. That shouldn't be too hard to do if there wasn't too much damage when the nose was torn off. And then you've got Sebastian Naranjo, Adam Jennerjohn, Darrell Willis, Chris Jennerjohn. And Chris Jennerjohn now just jumped up to 5th place overall in FE2. So lots of changes as this track continues to dry out here with 15.5 minutes to go. Lots of changes. Jason Conzo has now jumped up to 5th place in FE2. So he is on the move as well. Another driver we see up towards the front on a regular basis. James Lebecco, he's only turned 3 laps in this session, so he is still off Is he in pit lane or is he gone behind the wall? Not see him on pit lane, the best I can tell. It's possible he's gone behind the wall. And if he chooses to come back out, that 1:37.7 will go away, and you'll have to set a new fast lap. But with the amount of time left in this session and the drying racetrack, that might not be a bad idea. You can see a nice dry line here forming between turn 8 and 9. Very clear dry line that we can see. Now Dexter Zuba pops to the top spot in FE2, and he splits the P1 cars. So he's now the second fastest overall in this session. He's in an FE2 car. He's out of Hollis, New Hampshire. Todd Vanacore goes purple again with a new fast lap time of 1:32.199. So as this track dries out, we are definitely going to see some faster laps here, assuming we don't get more rain between now and the next 13 minutes and 50 seconds. Let's do this. Let's take our break. It'll be our final break of the day. And when we come back, hopefully we'll be green all the way to the finish. You're watching the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We'll be right back.
Hoosier Racing Tire is proud to be the presenting sponsor of SCCA Super Tour. Hoosier's mission is to be the dominant customer-driven provider of tires to race teams domestically and internationally. At Hoosier, we know that our success is dependent on how well we meet our customers' expectations by providing the safest, most reliable, high-quality race tires that put you in the winner's circle. For more information, see our trackside support personnel or the local Hoosier Racing Tire dealer near you, or contact us at HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Racing Tires, truly tires designed for champions.
Hagerty is the official and exclusive insurance partner for SCCA and provides affordable off-track insurance protection for motorsports vehicles while in the paddock, in transit, in storage, and at the shop. Hagerty also provides guaranteed value coverage and even has protection for your trailer. Did you know that SCCA members can save 5% on insurance through Hagerty? Hagerty, let's drive together. Learn more at Hagerty.com.
Get more bang for your buck at SummitRacing.com. Choose from millions of in-stock parts from over 1,500 name brands. Parts for racing, street performance, trucks, plus tools, accessories, and more. Shop anytime, anywhere with the Summit Racing app.
As the official fuel partner, Sunoco has been helping the SCCA and their drivers perform at their peak since 2001. Mile after mile, race after race, Sunoco's trusted the fuel over 50 racing bodies, including the SCCA, SCCA Pro Racing, Trans Am, NHRA, and NASCAR. As the largest manufacturer of race fuels, they're passionate about helping drivers and teams take the lead. To find race gas near you, visit SunocoRacefuels.com or call Sunoco at 800-RACE-GAS.
For over 25 years, championship-winning drivers and teams have demanded Hawk Performance Motorsports brake pads. Now you can have their advanced technology on your daily car, truck, or SUV with Hawk Performance Street products. With the improved HP Plus pad for the hybrid street and track feel, or Super Duty pads for tow vehicles, their all-new ER brake pad designed to take on even the longest race, and their all-new high-performance brake fluid. Hawk has all your braking needs covered. Visit HawkPerformance.com and like them on Facebook or Instagram to learn more about the Hawk Performance Advantage. Hawk Performance, what's stopping you?
If you like what you see today, become part of the action by joining the Sports Car Club of America. Whether you want to drive, flag, organize, officiate, have fun with cars, or meet 65,000 enthusiast friends, SCCA has plenty to feed your motorsport obsession. Ask someone trackside how to get involved or visit SCCA.com for more information.
Back here at Mid-Ohio, a little more than 10 minutes to go here, and not much has changed since we went off. I do need to make a couple of quick announcements here, so let me get that done. Stand by. Attention in the paddock, attention to the paddock. Travis Wiley, please report to impound and talk to the race director. Travis Wiley, please report to impound to talk to the race director. Also, car number 22, Spec Miata, Chris Ephemides, to see the class ambassador in impound. Number 22, Spec Miata, Chris Ephemides, please see the class ambassador in impound. All right, 10 minutes to go. Are we going to get any more fast lap? Right now, you're top in P1. Let's go through them. Do it by class. P1, Todd Vanacore and Daryl Schaff. Todd Vanacore is your overall pole sitter. In P2, Bill Niemeyer in that Sorcerer. He is your fast car in P2 with Mike Rupert in second, Vaughn Scott in third, followed by Richard Colburn and Gary Peck. That's your top 5. Now let's go to FE2. Eric Zuba, that is your FE2 pole sitter at the moment, followed by Chris Whitson, 0.8 of a second back. Jason Conzo is third. Then you've got Sebastian Naranjo and Blake Pigeon. That is your top 5 in FE2. And James Lebeco's holding on for dear life in 6th place there. He set that on lap number 3. Then on lap number 4, he stuffed it in the wall, ripped off his nose, and he is back in the paddock, hoping to stay in the top 10 here as this session comes to a close here with 9 minutes to go. So this group tomorrow is going to race. This is group number 5. Tomorrow, this group will race at approximately 1:45 p.m. Eastern Time. On Sunday, this group will race at 11:40 a.m. Eastern Time. So if you're here looking for this race group and you want to see their races, those are the times to tune in. But you really want to watch all the races, right? You don't want to just tune in for those 2 races. Got to do that. Also, if you are watching right now, smash the like button. Also, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit that bell button so you know when we go racing. We've got 2 more race weekends after this one. A whole bunch of fun stuff ahead here for the Super Tour, and you don't want to miss any. Now we have a new provisional pole sitter. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong. I'm just looking at FE2. Psych! No, just kidding. Todd Vanacore still up front here right now in the P1 car, and Daryl Schaff right behind him. Steve Whitston's moved up to 2nd place in FE2. So got some fast times going. James Lebeco, last lap, he was in 6th place. Now he has dropped down to 8. So here's our magic roll of the dice here. Is he going to stay in the top 10? Time will tell. 7.5 minutes to go as the track continues to dry out. I think there's still some more fast times out there. So the one thing I don't see anymore rooster tails. That's the telltale sign that we've got a fairly dry racetrack. So if any of these cars went out on dry tires, now they're going to be searching for water. Went out on wet tires. Now they're going to be searching for water to try to keep those tires as cool as possible over the next couple of laps here to get to the finish here. All the cars that went out on dry tires and had slippery stuff going in the early part of the race, they have now found their happy place. These tires coming in, the track drying out, and we're seeing those times come down as we go. And James Lebeco still holding on to that 8th spot now. Adam Jenner-John just dropped a 1:38.050 to get into the top 10 here. Things still changing as we go. Nothing's set in stone yet, folks. Jason Conzo looks like he's called it a day after 6 laps, so he's going to try to stand on the time that he has now. Mike Rupert out of Hubertus, Wisconsin, has dropped into the top 15. He just pulled off a lap of 1:38.852. Derek Zuba still holding on to your FE2 pole. Vaughn Scott just jumped up from 14th on the grid to 6th on the grid. He would right now be starting on the outside outside of row number 2 because he is in a P2 car. So that P2 car is getting some speed here as we get to the closing moments of this race. Eric Wisniewski now a top 14 car in his FE2. He's out of Mason, Michigan. He dropped a lap of 1:38.601. 5.5 minutes to go here. We'll be back on at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning with 4 more qualifying sessions. You can find it right here on the SCCA official YouTube channel. Then our first race tomorrow will be 10:20 a.m. Eastern Time. So once we get to that first race, the rest of the weekend is all racing, folks. 9 races tomorrow. Then at 8 a.m. on Sunday morning, 9 more races. Those feature races will be 20 laps around here. looking for changes and all. Oh, we've got trouble right at China Beach. Did they get all the way in? Maybe they avoided the gravel? I don't know. Yep, it looks. Oh, no, they did not. Well, they avoided the gravel. That's going to be a hard spot to get out of because that is really, really wet, and these are legit slick tires. So that will be hard to get out of there, especially pointing uphill. That will make it really, really problematic, but it shouldn't be hard to get it out of there. FE2 wing is just near the turn 12 tire wall. Which, unlike a pro race, they probably want that wing back. They will repair that and put it on the race car. So, a lot of these cars are also rental cars. The FE2 class has a lot of prep shops who bring cars, and I'm sure if you're renting that car, you want that wing back so you can put it back on the race car because you won't have to pay for it. So, all right, we've got a rescue car there you can see coming down towards the chicane. That's running off to that car in turn 4. They're going to try to yank that one out pretty quick here. Although this late stage, I have a feeling that they're going to not be able, and I see the checkered flag is in the hand of the starter. It may come out. Yeah, they're going to checker flag the session early because they can't really get that car out in the next 3 minutes anyway. So checkered flag is in the air. Let's let everybody come around and get their lap. But with that yellow flag there in turn 4, I don't imagine anybody's going to go fast here. We'll give it about 45 seconds, and we'll give you the rundown in the 3 classes. We will get out of here. We'll have some dinner. All in all, a pretty good day of racing with some unenviable conditions. Big thank you to all of our corner workers. All of our volunteers are out in the wet, in the elements, and we appreciate all of them for doing that. Also, a big props to the Mid-Ohio safety crew. Whether they're from Mid-Ohio or whether they're a combination of region and Mid-Ohio folks, they did a great job today pulling cars out. We're going to a minimal short stoppages, and in some cases doing hot pulls with no stoppages. Really, really great job for all of them. We appreciate that to keep us going racing as much as possible. Still getting some cars coming across the line here as we wrap up. Darrell Willis drops a good lap here, a 1:36.588. So, James Lebeco did not stay in the top 10. He's down to 12th. But still, starting 12th, that will be in FE2. Well, let's go through FE2 now. I think we probably have enough cars across the line. We'll give you your top 5 rows in FE2 tomorrow. Dexter Zuba, Chris Whitston, that should be your front row. Or Steve Whitston should be your front row. Sebastian Naranjo, Blake Pigeon, that should be row 2. Then Jason Conzo and Adam Jennerjohn, row 3. Darrell Willis and Jonathan Weisheit will make up row 4. Then you've got James Lebeco and Eric Wisniewski. That will be row number 5. Going to P2, you've got Vaughn Scott and Mike Rupert in the front row, and Bill Niemeyer and Gary Peck, row 2. Robert Coburn and Jack Baruth in row 3. And then, well, I have 2 Jack Baruths. That's a little odd. I guarantee you there'll only be 1 Jack Baruth, and I don't know which car he will be in. But the second, so someone else besides, unless there's a Jack Baruth Sr. and a Jack Baruth Jr. that I don't know about. But anyway, we've got 2 Jack Baruths in 6th and 7th place. I'm sure someone else is renting that car for the weekend. Going to P1, 2 cars in P1, your reigning P1 national champion. He will start on the pole tomorrow. He has got a time of 1:31.160. Next to him will be Daryl Schaff. That's how they stand here at the end of our qualifying for day number 1. Big appreciation here for everybody who got this thing on today. Jordan Worth directing back at the home base. And Brandon Kazmarek here with me here. I'm Brian Bielanski. That's going to do it. You're watching the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. See you all tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Talk to you later.